Okay, so I have to voice over this. I recorded it as a screen record. It didn't work, so here we go. We're going to solve for the vitamin C lab. Goal of this lab is to determine how much ascorbic acid is in vitamin C. So if I went ahead and I did a turbo titration and I got 30 milliliters, okay? I do my 3 trials, great. Let's say I get an average of 28.4. which ironically is exactly what you should get. I did notice on here that there is an error, and I believe I note that it should be finish minus start as opposed to start minus finish. So I apologize for that. Make sure you take note of that and you put that in your references for future labs. So we get my averages. I get 28.4 milliliters of sodium hydroxide titrated in to get the endpoint. I go through some of my data table here. I note that I have 0.1 molar NaOH. I just get that directly from the lab. I calculate my molar mass of my ascorbic acid of 176 grams per mole. I'm assuming we know how to do that. If you don't, that's another conversation we have to have down the road. And then we just did this. The average milliliters titrated to get the endpoint, meaning the pink phenolphthalein, 28.4 milliliters. So then I look at the whole point of the lab, which is calculate the number of milligrams of ascorbic acid vitamin C. Here's the problem. I don't know anything about vitamin C. That's what I need to figure out. So what I do know, if I look back at my lab, and I apologize for the mess. I'll clean it up. I'll come back to it. But the important thing is that I do know that moles of base equal moles of acid. So because if I look here, I don't know anything about vitamin C. That's it. I want to know milligrams. I just know I put a tablet in there and that's it. But I do know moles of base equal moles of acid. And I know a lot about the base. It's all about the base. Joke. So I look up here and it's 0.1 molar NaOH. I use 28.4 milliliters. So I cannot start at molarity because it is not a box on my mole map. If I look here, and again, sorry, I had to clean it up. And I want to go to milligrams. Now, the only options I can get there from grams, moles, molecules, liters, whatever. So what I do have is I have milliliters, okay, and molarity, but molarity is not something that I can use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at milliliters. Sorry, it's late. I'm going to start at milliliters, and I'm going to go to milligrams because I know moles of base equal moles of acid. Okay, and again, I'm voicing this over, so I'm kind of delayed here, and I'll get there eventually. I have 0.1 molar NaOH. I know the formula for ascorbic acid. I'm going to split screen this so I can kind of look at the map and everything at the same time. And again, milliliters of NaOH get me to milligrams of ascorbic acid. So that's what I'll be doing here in this lab. I don't know if I can fast forward this thing. I can't. So we're just going to pause. I'm sure I said something awesome the first time I recorded this, and I can't remember what it is. Great. Back to my data table and back to the calculations. I'm going to set this up as one big calculation. I'm going to take 28.4 milliliters of NaOH. Placeholder, very simple. I need to get rid of milliliters. Okay, let's go back and look at these. Milliliters to liters, liters to moles, moles to grams, grams to milligrams. I'm using those equalities, okay? I have a start, I have an end. I make note, I use that, I use that, I use that, I use that. So those are my equalities. If I want to write them out, list them, check them off, I go ahead and do that. Come back over here. I have milliliters, I don't want milliliters, so I have to cancel milliliters. I go to liters. I already have listed up there that I have a 1 to 1,000 ratio of liters to milliliters. I have to cancel liters, I have to go to moles. I have my equality of X moles equals 1 liter. My X is 0.1 molar. I get that from 0.1 molar NaOH. That's where I get that number from. I have to cancel moles. I have to go to grams. It says X grams, 1 mole. I get that X grams from my molar mass of ascorbic acid. Because I had my moles of base, sodium hydroxide, the same as my moles of acid. So there is another step there that I'm kind of glossing over that we'll be talking about when I get back. So I have a molar mass of ascorbic acid. You can follow my notes there. And now I have to go to milligrams of ascorbic acid, and then I can calculate that. Again, there's a step in there that we'll talk about as far as crossing over, but I take everything on the product of the top, multiply everything on the top, multiply by everything on the bottom, okay? And I should get 492.8, okay? I wonder if I even calculated that right. I think it's like 499. I might have calculated that incorrectly or written it down incorrectly, sorry, but which is good because the tablets are stated as having 500 milligrams, so I should expect a number near that. Okay, so I go through those calculations and I'm all set.